I would like to send everybody a warm welcome. The network works for transferring the good practice of the Municipality of Athienou, as Maria said, for volunteerism to the 7 partner cities. Like everybody, the COVID-19 situation we are all still passing made our lives difficult. However, in volunteering cities, we do not give up. With our volunteering spirit, we help others. With our will and patience, we overpass all problems and we continue our hard work. This was proved by the way many cities reacted during the crisis, like the municipalities of Athienou, Pregrada, Altea, Capizzi, Arcos de Valdevez, and all the other cities of our network. We have proofs for all of them about their actions during the crisis. Besides the problems caused by the pandemic situation, a positive thing arose: the digitalization. All of us, we were using digital methods before, but nowadays we hold such webinars in a much more used way, like being an everyday habit. The evidence on the increasing importance of having participative volunteers-based models for the social policy will be shown at this webinar. In an intervention in a group at the December URBACT Lead Partner Lead Experts online meeting of the Secretariat, I had mentioned that really, Volunteering Cities Transfer Network was designed like we knew that the COVID-19 was coming, and we designed the network to cope with the problems that showed up and with volunteerism to help people in need. Because it was proved that all our partners, not excluding anyone, mobilized many volunteers who were there helping people in need and in all their everyday needs. From the work done by partners through the life of our network till now, including the COVID-19 period, we were able to see that with volunteerism, we accomplished to solve many societal problems. We are able to get more adequate oriented solutions due to the closeness of the volunteers to the real problems. Make a more efficient use of the resources because it is possible to coordinate and combine the interventions of the various stakeholders. Involving the community in the solution of its own problems makes people more proactive, enables to make more with less, adapting to times of social security budget problems, create more resilient communities that respond effectively to crises like COVID-19. Before giving the floor, I would like to send my thanks to all the speakers of our webinar, the Mayor of Pregrada, our friends from Arcos de Valdevez, Altea, and Capizzi. Also, I would like to send special thanks for their presence and participation to Mrs. Adele Busella, URBACT Director from the URBACT Secretariat, and Paolo Petroso, Professor of Sociology and former World Bank Administration. I cannot live without special thanks. Maria Joao, our special lead expert, who works very hard for the success of the work of our network, and who planned and designed this webinar. But also my friend Sergio Campanella, who also contributed a lot for us being here today in this online tool. I wish all the best to the work of our webinar. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kyriakos. You are an inspiration to all of us. So now we are going to the different statements of the different type of stakeholders that were involved in our network. We wanted really that each one of the groups could state which was the benefit of having a new model and having a more participative intervention. And to begin, I am very, very pleased to give the floor to MARKO VESLIGAJ. I hope I am not...
Very good pronouncement.
Thank you. That is the mayor of Pregrada, and that is one of the very good examples how the commitment and the engagement of a mayor can make the difference, because Pregrada is really one of the best performers and even succeeded to go over what was expected, and that there is a feedback way also from some of the actions of Pregrada to the good practice itself. So please, MARKO, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Hello to everybody. Hello, Maria. Hello to all the colleagues. And first of all, it's always nice to hear such a nice words about Pregrada and about our programs we have in our town. So today my topic is how public social policies can profit from volunteering and participation. I want to say that it's becoming increasingly difficult for government services to fully meet the needs of all citizens in need of the state assistance due to the increase of the number of migrants, unemployment, and population's aging. The government support for the volunteering is a superior public management practice, offering the much needed fuel for the integration of the volunteering in policies, in lawmaking and social planning at the government level. The 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development listed among the 17 goals, one concerning the promotion of peaceful and inclusive societies for sustainable development, providing access to justice for all, and building effective, accountable, and inclusive institutions at all levels. There is also another significant sustainable development goal in the list, fosters effective public, private, and civil society partnership, building on the experience and researching strategies for the partnerships. I think that the volunteering is playing a significant role in all this process around the world. Volunteers properly help during the both man-made and natural diseases. They help solve environmental changes. They fight, of course, against poverty. It is volunteers who work in the social strained areas in local communities. They assist professionals work with the elderly people. They are involved in the government funding for address these challenges as this finishing. They're everywhere. Moreover, there's also the big topic is the participation of the citizens in the local government, the involvement of the volunteers in the implementation of the state taxes, and the achievement of the national development goals is the marker of the effectiveness and sustainability of the public administration itself. To ensure this sustainability, it is important to create the most favorable conditions for volunteering activities of citizens, and infrastructure for supporting volunteers, considering the characteristics of the local communities. So the crisis we are facing during the last years, the coronavirus pandemic, we in Croatia also have two pretty big earthquakes. They show the importance of the cooperation, how cooperation is important, how important is to support the civil society groups, how important the volunteers are. And I'm proud that the town of Pregrada, as well as other towns and municipalities, as the local government, as the regional government, sometimes we don't have enough capacities to answer to all the challenges that we have in modern society. And I think that there has to be a cooperation, communication, openness, transparency in working with other institutions, with civil society groups, with volunteers, of course, with the state administration. We have been working for years on raising the transparency in our town's work, strengthening and supporting civil sector, encouraging the participation of the youths, also very important, and of course all other citizens, our local committees, together to create the local policies that will increase the quality of the life of all population in our city. One of the ways how to encouraging and including the citizens in the active participation, of course, is also example is when we creating the city's strategic documents for our development, for example, for next 7 years, which is the new financial plan of the European Union. We want for our citizens to know we are here for them, and our goal and the main task is to fulfill their needs, and of course create the safe and healthy social environment for them. We want them to know, to find their opinions is important, that their ideas matter, and that their participation is the key for the future development of the town. We want to hear the voice of all our citizens. I must say that as a mayor, I volunteered plenty of hours with the goals and wish to contribute to development of my town and to well-being of our citizens with my ideas, with my work. The benefits of volunteering is, of course, is many for personal growth, I think, and well as to the development of a society itself. And I must say it as the mayor that town of Pregrada will continue to support this participatory approach to the creation of the local policies, the volunteering, and the intergenerational solidarity and social responsible entrepreneurship. This project, the project of the volunteering cities, is first and foremost for us is important because it's based on the connecting of all the key members in our local community with the goal of the common decision making, creating the new ideas, the new activities, the strengthening the mutual cooperation between this these institutions and the NGOs in our community. Of course, the mutual work involving the strengthening the participation of the citizens, the youth, the promotion of the volunteering, the intergenerational solidarity, and the socially responsible entrepreneurship. With this project, I think we grew closer to our citizens. And it's important that citizens realize that everything we do is for them and because of them. And I could say that all members of our URBACT local group are contributing through their work to raising the quality of the life of the citizens of all ages, different backgrounds, and different needs. Through this founding of our ULG group, the mutual deliberation and work, we have achieved a lot when it comes to raising the quality of the, as I said before, the mutual communication and cooperation of the different members who are the key for the future development of our town. So today we are really we are witnesses the very good cooperation of the local government, local cultural and our education institutions, civil society groups, local entrepreneurs, and of course, all the citizens. The thing I see as important is to work on promotion volunteering at the early age, and that is exactly what we are doing. Participating is activities with kindergarten, with our elementary school, with our high school children, volunteering through local associations. The important aspects of the good practice we are implementing is also opening the service of our educational programs to all citizens, which is the best seen in the activities of our high school, which open the doors for the people in elderly age to offer them the service for the physiotherapy, sorry. And at the end, definitely I would recommend this program to other towns, especially those which are heading in the direction of the strengthening the participation of the citizens when it comes to creating the local policies, transparency of work, strengthening the participation of the youths, participation of the local entrepreneurs, and of course the promotion of the. We are very happy to be part of this great project.
Thank you, Marko. Thank you very much for this strong message. We pass immediately to one company, so one entrepreneur from Arcos de Valdevez.
I apologize. I have some some meetings, so I will be here for 10 or 15 minutes. So after that, I will leave you.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Well, it's a pity, Marko, because we would like to have you in the final part. We have a round table. If you could find some minutes to be there, it would be great. Thank you. So, as I was saying, now we have the voice of an entrepreneur. That is RUI FILIPE from Arcos de Valdevez, that is from a takeaway company, and that will give the voice of the benefits that he felt by cooperating in a large partnership with this project. So please, RUI FILIPE, the floor is yours.
Okay. Hello, good morning. We are from the company of Arcos de Valdevez. The name is VESLIGAJ, and during the pandemic, we try to renovate our business model, where we take a chance to delivering food. During the pandemic, we start to put new things in the market, like the masks and the alcohol gel, to the people start to have a new measures in his lives. So when we, sorry, with the mask is hard to talk, and so when we started delivering food, we are in delivering food since 7 years ago, and when we pass across the pandemic, we need to think about and think out the box. So we start to think how people could interact with us more closer. So introduce masks and alcohol gel in our markets was a good practice to our business. So when some I want to say clients out, sorry, our new clients when they call for our local business, they they ask for food and things like this. And when we are in contact with them, we give alcohol gel and masks to have this new practice in his lives, and to have like to create a different I'll say that as
Attitude.
dynamic and hygienic mood life. So during this 6 months at 1 year, we had a different. We could see new results in this pandemic situation. In the beginning, people was not using masks, and they was like above, like they doesn't care about it. And now people are like every time using masks and trying to ask if all the machines we have, they are not infected, or we have disinfected all the things. And we, in this case, we have a positive aspect about it. It's a good feedback we have. If we see like a company, the financial part of our company, we could see since the beginning at the end, we have a positive aspect, because in the beginning people was afraid and they was not like asking for so many food, and now they are like more relaxed. They are not afraid to be in contact with us. They trust us, and now we have like probably every day like 20, 25, 30 persons calling us, and that is a good number, because during the winter we have not so many people going to the restaurants or like calling us to deliver food.
Okay.
So I have just one more aspect to talk about the old people. In the last 6 months, we start to create a new line abroad, and we start to give promotions to help people with difficulties, to delivering food, a package per month. And some whole people are like approached us to have this promotion, and they are happy with the situation, because in the beginning they was like alone, and they were like very scared about it, and they was like not prepared to accept this. And now old people are very happy with this, because we spent some 10 minutes to talk with them.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a good is good for them, because here we talk about 20,000 people in Arcos de Valdevez, and there is so many higher to so less people. So some people lives like really far the center, and they have not contact with anybody. So I think it's a good practice for us, a good practice for them, and we are very happy, because we are creating a very a healthy mental life for them, and for us it is is very good. We are create some good intentions, and so we are happy for our feedback. And
very good. Very good. Thank you very much, RUI FILIPE. And well, I see that you are a very good representative of Module 4 of the of our project, and I see very well how you came then to this participative approach of Arcos de Valdevez. So congratulations for that. And only for the other audience that is not still very acquainted with our project, the module 4 is the one about corporate citizenship of companies that also were involved in our ULG that is working as the Municipal Council for Volunteering. So, and I pass, and thank you very much to all the speakers until now for keeping the time, because it's very important that we keep this 7 to 10 minutes. And I pass immediately the floor to Ignacio Gonzalez, that is the president of an NGO in Altea, the Amicitia, that is one of the most relevant actors in the MCV of Altea, in the ULG of Altea. So please, Ignacio, we count on you to tell us how important it was to come in contact with this project, to develop this civil society aspect. Please, the floor is yours.
Okay, good morning to everybody. I'm very glad to be here. Okay, I'm not a specialist on the topic that I have to talk about. I'm just a person who has managed an NGO for the last 20 years, especially with European funding. Also, I was mayor of a little town in Madrid, something like 10 years ago. So I will just give you some tips of my experience, and maybe we can debate afterwards. Okay, the topic to me, it sounds like how is in a way, I mean, how can we profit civil society, NGOs like us, on social policies? To me, this has a lot to do with the links, the strength that is in this bridge between civil society that is represented by NGOs, active participants, that would be the citizens that are participating in our organizations, and the ones who develop these social policies, that are the administration. Okay, how strong we are cooperating, and sometimes it's difficult and sometimes it's easy. It depends on the situation. Social problems are everywhere, and to start with, I would like to say that I'm proud of being European, because we put energy on solving our social problems. As I said, I'm not a specialist, but I would say that in Europe, at least, of course, in other areas, USA, for example, but in other areas, not so much, like I would say maybe Russia, I don't know, but maybe, but we spend energy on not leaving anybody out of society, which is the main core of social policies. And I would like to highlight, as I said, I'm not a specialist, but I would like to highlight three social problems, three social policies that touches me, just to make you reflect. One is the COVID pandemic. We in Europe and in many other places, but we have to realize that we have had a policy in this sanitary crisis of not leaving anybody out and supporting those who are more vulnerable. And we are doing it well in this way, I think. So we have to be proud of this. Second problem, social problem that we are facing very much is the integration of immigrants. We all have legs, we all have families that have immigrated, or we have, all of us thought of immigration, and sometimes we are not giving the solution for immigrants. And I think that in the Mediterranean countries, this is a reality. So we maybe have to think that our policies are not being, in this case, correct. And the social policy that touches me more is the one with youth. We are not giving youngsters the possibility of getting independent easily. Today, I read in a newspaper, quite reliable newspaper, especially for the topic, that youngsters have lost 50% of their salary, 50% of their salary in the last 40 years. So how is it possible to get independent after being trained through university or whatever for many, many years if you only have the 50% of your salary. I think that there must be a development of social policies in this case. And for that, we have the administration and we have the civil society, people like us. What difficulties we have faced? For us, it's difficult to manage volunteers. For us, it's very difficult to make people active citizens, people who want to be active in society, to give them, show them the benefits of being volunteers, which is anything but money. You don't get money, you get other things from being volunteering, and we all know. For example, we in the Amicitia are working in this moment to get accreditation from the university for our youngsters when they go to work camps or do any kind of volunteering activity. Why? Because we know that this certificate is valuable for them. And we have seen there is a kind of link between university and recognition of competences that they get from volunteering. But it's getting very difficult to get this accreditation. Okay, this is one of the weak, let's say, bridges that, as I said in the beginning, we find. We get difficulties, as always, reaching funding. And it is very difficult sometimes to go into the calls that the administration is running, because sometimes we are competing between NGOs. It's very bureaucratic. For example, in the Amicitia, we decided, and it's very difficult to plan because sometimes you get the funding, sometimes not. So actually in the Amicitia, we are basically working with Erasmus+, because we know that with this funding, we get a regular support. And for example, regional funding from Spain, sometimes you get so much work giving invoices and things like this that it isn't worthwhile to write a project. And this is something for the administrations to think about, the energy that we lose and the competition between organizations. And sometimes with the administration, as a weak point, I would say that the dialogue is difficult. Sometimes they have a different agenda than the NGOs, which is normal, but it shouldn't be so different in many cases. Sometimes the administration is suspicious about us, and I don't know why. And also the administration is sometimes very late, comes a little bit late. These are, let's say, the difficulties, no? That we find. But as I say, I am very positive. I am positive because I think that one of the best solutions, and actually I saw it in this program, in this URBACT program, and most of you have much more experience than me, is to create a space for dialogue, for civil society, to be able to participate in social policies. And this space can be, for example, as some of you have developed very well, kind of local council with the municipality, where ideas can come from one and the other. And I would say that it will work if transparency, democracy, and independency are the principles that are creating the structure of these kind of institutions. And I would also highlight that in these spaces, we have experience with these spaces with the Erasmus+, with the European Solidarity Corps. When we apply for this funding to the European Union, afterwards they invite us to come and to work with the volunteers and to work with the administration for 3 or 4 days and to interact. And I think this is a very positive practice. So I would highlight from my experience the importance of creating this space, especially not only for making decisions all together, but also to get training from the administration so that the NGOs, the civil society, we know what are the real policies that the administration wants and how do they want us to do it, So I think this is also very important. And also it's very important we get the visibility from the administration. The Amicitia is now known because we work with Altea municipality, with this municipality, with the other municipality, and then people are relying on us. So this visibility is also very valuable for us.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Ignacio. This is, it reinforces the importance of this participation. So it is through the participation that the strength of the intervention comes. And I pass immediately the word to Antonino CACCIATO INSILLA, that is the Secretary General of the Capizzi Municipality. And it's going to speak to us about one of the points that was the focus of the ULG of Capizzi, that is the entrepreneurship. So please give us a message on how important it was, this cooperation among different actors, different stakeholders for the entrepreneurship kickoff in Capizzi. So please, Antonino, the floor is yours.
Salve a tutti, sono orgoglioso di partecipare a questa riunione molto importante per noi di Capizzi, che abbiamo partecipato a questo progetto con grandissimo entusiasmo. Siamo riusciti a sbloccare una situazione diciamo di chiusura endemica nel nostro paese, dove le associazioni culturali e di volontariato soprattutto avevano dei problemi a partire. Attraverso questo progetto invece siamo riusciti a coinvolgere grandissima parte della cittadinanza, tanti giovani e soprattutto giovani che hanno partecipato alla formazione di idee, di nuove start-up anche, per quanto riguarda la nuova visione di un nuovo sviluppo per un territorio e per un paese così piccolo e diciamo pieno di cultura, ma diciamo dal punto di vista economico molto provato. In questo periodo di Covid, di problemi sanitari, abbiamo visto invece una partecipazione da parte dei giovani, delle associazioni locali di volontariato, una partecipazione enorme. Hanno dato aiuto, hanno aiutato sia l'amministrazione a portare avanti quelle che erano gli interventi diciamo pratici di aiuto alla popolazione, alle persone che dovevano per forza rimanere a casa, non avevano la possibilità di uscire anche a fare la spesa. E quindi abbiamo visto che il lavoro fatto attraverso questo progetto da 2 anni a questa parte ha dato grandissimi risultati. Sono nate infatti tante associazioni che prima non avevano avuto la fortuna di coinvolgere persone e di diversa natura. Ad esempio è nato un gruppo della Caritas che a livello nazionale aiuta tantissimo le bisognose, quindi le persone in difficoltà economica, e nello stesso tempo però a Capizzi ancora non c'era un gruppo vero e proprio che ne prendesse parte, ed è nato. Sono nati dei gruppi, sono stati ancora incentivati più a collaborare sia con l'amministrazione che con la cittadinanza, antichi gruppi di volontariato che sono nati originariamente con scopi soprattutto culturali, quello di riportare, quindi trasmettere sia alle nuove generazioni che alle altre realtà locali quello che è la nostra cultura, i nostri beni culturali, i nostri beni economici, le nostre produzioni di eccellenza, e quindi è nato anche un gruppo, soprattutto il più importante, un gruppo della protezione civile, INOIS, che grazie anche allo stimolo avuto da queste riunioni che sono state fatte attraverso l'ULG comunale, hanno preso coscienza di quello che è il valore del volontariato in una società, soprattutto un po' ritirata, diciamo un po' messa da parte quali siano i piccoli comuni. Noi siamo un comune a 1100 metri di altezza, pur essendo in Sicilia abbiamo dei problemi enormi in inverno. E sono nati gruppi appunto che hanno aiutato tantissimo in questo periodo l'amministrazione a dividere e distribuire i beni di prima necessità alle persone che sono rimaste per Covid a casa e non avevano la possibilità neanche di fare la spesa dei beni alimentari. Come può, per andare al succo del discorso per quanto riguarda l'argomento da me trattato, come può il volontariato sviluppare e quindi stimolare l'imprenditorialità di un paese come il nostro? Ci può riuscire mettendo assieme e quindi cercando di unire le persone, quindi le realtà sociali, gli stakeholder di un'amministrazione che sono non solo i cittadini ma anche e soprattutto il singolo cittadino, ma le imprese commerciali che ci sono, imprese che noi abbiamo individuato soprattutto in quelle che sono quelle di eccellenza, che sono delle produzioni tipiche, tradizionali del nostro territorio, che sono le imprese agricole di allevamento e produzione di latte e formaggi tipici. E soprattutto attraverso questo coinvolgimento è nata l'idea di un progetto che dovrebbe prendere corpo, ed è un'idea che è nata nei tavoli di questo progetto europeo. Il progetto si rivolge diciamo, al recupero delle lane che ormai non hanno più prezzo. Io mi ricordo tempo fa la lana veniva, soprattutto noi abbiamo degli allevamenti, numerosi allevamenti di pecore, quindi la lana non riusciva ad aver prezzo, ma allora invece costituiva anche un incentivo anche alla produzione, veniva ricercata, mentre adesso con tutti i filati non biologici, i filati plastici, il file internazionale, la lana è stata messa un po' da parte. Con questo progetto si cerca invece di recuperare la lana che producono i nostri allevamenti di bestiame, di pecora soprattutto, e attraverso una compartecipazione tra gli anziani ancora presenti nel territorio, che possono dare un aiuto concreto e quindi tramandare le loro tradizioni di utilizzo di questa lana, di cercare di insegnare alle nuove generazioni quello che la lana dava alle vecchie generazioni passate nella propria costituzione dell'abbigliamento. Quindi il gruppo ha cercato di fare un progetto pilota per una startup di economia sociale che mette assieme sia per quanto riguarda l'imprenditoria locale che i giovani, quindi stimolarle anche loro al lavoro, quindi creare effettivamente dei posti di lavoro. Questo può essere anche un stimolo allo sviluppo locale, perché mettendo insieme il bisogno di lavoro che queste realtà del sud Italia hanno con l'imprenditoria locale, quindi cercherà sicuramente di portare sviluppo a un'economia che ha tantissimi problemi, ma anche tantissime risorse a cui attingere per uno sviluppo duraturo del territorio. Penso di non aver sforato troppo il tempo del mio intervento, solo per ringraziare il progetto di averci dato la possibilità di mettere assieme tantissime risorse che non sapevamo neanche di avere. E quindi solo mettendo assieme il vecchio con il nuovo, quindi le nuove generazioni con quelle tradizionali, le vecchie generazioni, si può anche avere uno sviluppo locale duraturo che permetta uno sviluppo economico duraturo e che possa sviluppare, fare cambiare, diciamo, l'esistenza a un territorio che ne ha tanto bisogno.
Very well, thank you so much, Nuccio, and thank you for being able to bring in such a synthetic way, such a firework of nice things that have been done in Capizzi related with entrepreneurship. So thank you very much. And so we could hear until now these 4 statements. Thank you. 4 statements of that brought the strengths of this participative approach, what really benefited the society, the community, and the organizations themselves of the work that has been done in this network that is based in volunteering. So, and to do that, this network has collectively produced an output that is a guide for the transfer of this kind of good practice, of this model of governance that is participative. And this guide is exactly to help other cities and other organizations that want to implement this kind of model to be able to do it profiting from the experience of the cities, of the 8 cities that are in our network. And to launch our guides and present it to us, I invite our lead partner, the mayor of Athienou, Mr. KYRIAKOS, to take the floor, please.
Thank you, Maria. Hello to everybody again. Stavroula, can we show the Stavroula? Okay. Regarding the transfer guide, we think that it's a major output of the volunteering cities transfer network. I believe that is the best thing we have done in this transfer network. Is the most important thing. It's something that will help other cities who want to follow this participative approach and all these things that we have done in this network. Any city of Europe, any city of the world, we could say, can use this model. This guide supports cities across Europe that wish to revisit their social policy governance model, with a main objective to support other cities that would like to implement the volunteering cities model, as I have just said. The guide is for a participative model, co-creation policy making, and action plans design processes that incorporate volunteers directly. What are the advantages of this participative model? Increase distributed responsibility over social policies, overcome shortcomings in social budgets, and bring the solutions closer to the problems. Mr. Rula. The municipalities, Athienou is like all the municipalities responsible for the local administration in our city, in Athienou, in Cyprus. Through the municipality, The Municipal Council of Volunteerism, the MCV, was constituted in 1970, and this adds significant value to the community. It takes care of all these problems with people in need, with all the social problems that they arise in the city of Athienou. It has 4 volunteering programs, and from these programs benefit the quality of life in our community. It's a key role in the process of volunteerism, and it's assumed that local companies and entrepreneurs, they help, they add in this process. Our network exists of 8 cities. The city of Athienou in Cyprus is the lead partner. We tried, when we designed the network, to include cities dispersed in the area of Europe. So we have the city of Capizzi, where is the meeting today, in Sicily. We have the municipality of Altea in Spain, the municipality of Arcos de Valdevez in Portugal. We have in the middle the municipality of Pregrada in Croatia. And then we have the 3 outer cities, the municipality of Ratlin in Poland, the municipality of Altena in Germany, and the Kildare County Council in Ireland. We try to have a dispersed area of Europe in order to be more typically and more successively enforcing this model. During our work, we try to work with some thematic modules, and we used this practice in order to take the transfer elements good practice with thematic modules that were all the partners worked with them, and we came up with some results. So we worked with thematic module M1 about participative governance, and with objective to achieve coordination of volunteering actions and increase participative mechanisms. Thematic module 2, to increase intergenerationality, with objective to increase the activities with young and elderly people. Thematic module M3, mobilize young volunteers, with an objective to attract young people to volunteerism and increase their community participation. Thematic module M4, corporate citizenship, with an objective to increase the involvement of companies in volunteering through citizenship. And also thematic module 01, social entrepreneurship, with objective to tackle unemployment. Here is a very nice schematic sketch of these transfer elements with the capacity building. We water up the flower where there are all these modules, and we have at the top the participative governance module. It's a schematic sketch that shows our work. The URBACT method. The URBACT method is to understand, to analyze the model we are transferring, to select our stakeholders and partners, to adapt, to decompose it into modules like we did, to evaluate which module and how to transfer to our city, to each city, and to plan the transfer targets, partners, and process. And the reuse, which is the real transfer. Now, this guide, for which we are very happy that we have done it, we have produced it, describes the good practice of Athienou, our transfer network, the cities that they are in the network, etc. The methodology for adapting participative social policies, the knowledge acquired by each partner city during the transfer, and the new policies and sustainability factors that were developed in the partner cities. The Municipality of Athienou and the Athienou Municipal Council of Volunteerism are always willing to provide their support to cities that are willing to integrate elements of the good practice of Athienou. And this is a statement. We are willing to provide support and help to any city that wills to integrate the elements of the good practice of Athienou. The guide, as we said at the beginning, will be available online soon after the event and will be promoted as part of the transfer network dissemination activities. And everybody can take a look, can study it, and the Municipality of Athienou is ready to provide its support and its help. Stavroula, thank you for your attention. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Kyriakos. So I would say that our guide is officially launched and it will be available to everybody.
Exactly.
So after this first part that we could hear how can be important this model for the cities, and then that we have produced a tool that can help the cities to get this model or to implement this model if they wish. So now we would like to open a roundtable discussion about what was really achieved in terms of this new model, or at least partly new model in the cities, and about the guide. And for that, we have two moderators. One is Adele Bucella, that, as Kyriakos already said, is the director of the URBACT program, and Paulo Pedroso, that is a professor of sociology and was former part of the administration of the World Bank in representation of the Portuguese government. And besides that, are two good friends that I'm very pleased to have here. And what I will ask them is that from now on, they take on the conversation and that they can talk between them and also with our speakers and also with the audience. And so we will get to you the questions that are coming, that you can incorporate them, and also that if you wish, you can ask if someone wants to say something. So from now on, please, the floor is yours. Maybe I begin with Adele, ladies first. So please, from now on, it's up to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Maria João. So good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for inviting me along to the panel. I'm very happy to be here representing URBACT, and my role within the URBACT program is everything related to the project. So I'm really in the right place and delighted to hear the progress that has been made by these transfer partners. I remember that I came to a network meeting in Athienou quite a while ago now, and it seemed like we were facing a mounting of challenges actually getting started. But it's so nice to hear today the progress that's been made and the impact that this project has had in these cities. It's really great. And I think what's very interesting is that volunteering seems like a very simple concept, but when it's coordinated well and used in the right way as a tool, it can have such a huge impact on social policy in cities. So it's really nice to have some of those examples. And for me, what stood out in that first introductory presentations from the cities were the vast variety of different aspects, from Pregrada talking about the Sustainable Development Goals. It's a real challenge for many cities now, looking at how to localize those goals and the strategic planning that's required to try and include volunteering into the strategy for the next 7 years. And then the business angle from our from Arcos de Valdevez. I'm not very good at Portuguese, I'm sorry. And the fact that they just turned around their business and took on the positive side of this COVID pandemic and reached out to vulnerable people in the community is really nice too. And IGNACIO, who persisted in telling us that he's not a specialist. And when I hear people say I'm not a specialist, for me, that means they're a practitioner, and actually they're the real specialists, in my opinion. And I think it was very clear from IGNACIO's presentation from what's happening in Altea that this is really a great model for advocating transparency, democracy, independency in working in this volunteering community. And I'm really interested to hear a bit more about this accreditation, so we can maybe come to that afterwards. And then finally, from Capizzi, the great energy in the city. I mean, it's a very small place up a mountain, and I remember the stories of how to get there, which were very difficult, but with two really very important challenges in small and medium cities: traditional industries and maintaining those skills, and unemployment, especially of young people. And it was really nice to see the gender focus as well from the presentation of Antonino. So maybe just to say a quick word on the transfer guide, and then Paolo, you can share with us your thoughts, and then we've got, I'm sure, plenty of questions for our panelists. For me, the transfer guide, as Kyriakos said, it's really a great overview of all of the success factors, and such a useful tool for other cities that are starting to think about introducing these kinds of volunteering policies into their city. A real co-creation process of how social policy can be integrated into European cities, mainstreamed, if you like. So I'm very much looking forward to the discussion and the questions that I've prepared. So Paolo, over to you for some introductory words.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Adele. Thank you very much, Maria, and all the colleagues. So first of all, thank you for having me here today. It's an honor always to follow, as Adele was saying, the real experts, those that are on the field doing things and basically giving the really that we can try to understand and to make sense of, but which is really the basis for change. Thank you for the guide. I think the guide will be very useful for other URBACT cities and for cities outside the program, because indeed this is a very, I would say, didactical. So it's very easy to consult. It's very easy to understand, and it can be inspiring other future partners or other future members. From the first presentations, I would say that clearly we have here intertwining three ideas: participatory governance, volunteering, and social entrepreneurship. They are connected, but they are not exactly the same. And I think that one point for transfer that is interesting and if the participants could go a bit deeper, is how to organize the participatory governance. Indeed, let's say in modern governance, not only at local level, at every level, we can, I would say, we are in a situation that we could define as multi-level governance, with actors going from transnational to local, from administration to non-administration, but public to private, including social sector. And the way at local level, this participatory approach brings us to new forms of governance, this is very interesting. Probably the Portuguese colleagues could share a bit their experience with the social net, as it is called, for those speaking Portuguese, Rede Social. That is an attempt at organizing this participatory governance, and that these days, as for example, even executive responsibilities, for example, to define social responses to issues like aging or social services at local level. The second point I took, let's say, I bring to my own analysis from this morning is about volunteering. This is a concept that is widespread, but to which I must tell, we are still lacking, I believe, unless it's my ignorance that is saying that, but I hope not. We are still lacking a kind of common understanding of volunteering and of recognition of volunteers. Let's say, we know by negative, a volunteer is not paid, as someone said this morning, but I would say by the positive. And by the way, I think that one of the things that your network could think upon and give us some insights is about let's say, how to promote the volunteering spirit and how to, I would say, dignified volunteer status. In my experience here in Portugal, I must tell you, from rural to urban contexts, and I'm thinking, for example, in urban disadvantaged contexts, volunteering is at the heart of the most interesting experiences of social inclusion. You can easily find both community leaders, that are persons that give their time and their energy in organizing the community and in promoting the inclusion of the community. From that to what I would say engaged partners. I'm not sure even if he is not here, but he intended to be, and if he is, I think it would be very interesting if he could join the discussion. Rogerio Roque Amaro, who is also an economy professor, but is mobilizing networks of neighbors in some Lisbon neighborhoods, and he is doing a local work for more than a decade long now, that is very, very important. My third point, and I'll be quick now, is about social entrepreneurship. This is something that appeared also in the experiences of the participatory municipality, of the participant municipalities. And social entrepreneurship, again, is something that needs probably some work from our side in order to understand that social entrepreneurship is probably less connected with juridical status of the companies and more connected, more linked with the, let's say, the scope, the spirit, the approach to life. So we can have a social entrepreneur that is a commercial company. And I think we saw it also with the colleagues from Arcos, for example. And so this brings me to a question just for analysis. That is, today we were used to think about state, market, social sector as things that are very distinct. So we could easily say, okay, state is public, market is private and profit, social is private and non-profit. But indeed, today, probably it would be more useful to have a concept of hybridization. So that is, there are profit companies that are social oriented. There are, for example, public interventions that are market oriented. And so this creates a new hybrid in which I believe the juridical status is relevant, but is less relevant than the orientation, the goals, the approach. And I think this is something that your partnership could also think about. And with that, my question is, I would suggest that if Adele can, let's say, can give us some insight on that, it's basically it would be on other URBACT experiences in participatory governance and what lessons could we learn from different experiences in participatory governance. This is for Adele or for anyone who wants to take the floor. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Paolo. But maybe I can say a quick word about what URBACT has already done in relation to these questions. I mean, you know, we're a program that finances city networks. So basically, we work with cities on all sorts of questions related to general, let's say, citizen participation. But what I would say is that this participatory approach is actually in the DNA of the URBACT program. I mean, everyone here today mentioned their stakeholder groups. You mentioned multi-level governance issues. These are concepts and issues that are built in to the URBACT way of working. So all of our networks have this built into their methodology of working. But what's particularly interesting in this network is that it features more strongly, and I completely agree with what you said on the last point about this idea of hybridization. And we actually have a project at the moment which is about corporate social responsibility, which I myself am not a specialist in that topic, but when I attended their meeting, your conclusion there at the end was my conclusion at the end of their meeting, that this is a very mixed, very difficult to define those two areas. And we also have interesting projects on participatory budgeting, which I'm sure you probably know about in Cascais and Madrid. And we have projects that are about more generally changing the culture of how the municipality works, to have this more dialogue with civil society. Maybe, I mean, I had a specific question actually to well, I mean, whoever wants to answer, but my question was specifically to Altea about this idea of planning and building in the participatory approaches into the working of the city. And I think you mentioned the need for transparency and common decision making. Are you looking in your city to use any of the new tools that are available within the European framework, like the community local-led development tools that have been quite frequently used in rural contexts? Or do you have any plans to use those kinds of tools in your city? Ignacio, if you have an opportunity to share your thoughts.
Okay. Well, the truth is that thanks to URBACT, we started to work with this methodology, especially through the ULG. This was like a new grade, a new quality. We had all these ideas or necessities to develop in our mind, but thanks to working with this methodology of the ULG, we reached more projects, but especially I would say more quality in our way of working. Some things are very basic, but we did it through participation, like the website that we created with the municipality. It was a website created with all of us, proposing ideas, working with other associations, and that created a new, let's say, methodology. What will happen in future? I don't know. I'm not a politician. I am not going to decide, but I will promote, obviously, that there will be some kind of area, like a council. Actually, there is a plan to do that, where the mayor will be participating as president of this council, but all of us will be working together. And there, I think we will be able to develop all these strategies, policies from the European Union that you mentioned, that I am not very aware of them. So probably we will need some more information. I don't know if this answered your question.
Yes, I think it's great to hear that this has started a dynamic in the city. I think that's what you're saying, is that having this stakeholder group is a structured way of introducing this participatory or improving the participatory approaches.
I think that from what our colleague was saying, from what Ignacio was saying, it's also important, this idea of having the, let's say, a definition of the participatory structure. Sometimes people think of participation like more only informal consultation, and I would say that what some experts call consultative administration, and the forms in which you empower the stakeholders to be part of, let's say, to share decisions. This is important. And I don't know if anyone in our municipalities network want to elaborate a bit on this. Or if Adel or Maria, the expert, can share with us some views on this. Maria.
Well, I think that before sharing my ideas, I think that I would like very much that some of our cities, even if not the people that were speaking now, but for instance, Maria from Pregrada could tell us what she thinks, because they had a very good implementation of this. And then I will add something, if you don't mind, Paulo.
No. On
Maria,
I think the idea is having those that, as Adel was saying, the real experts.
Yes, Maria, are you there? Please activate her micro.
Maria is asking Maria to speak.
Maria from Pregrada. Maria? Is she? I hope she's still here, because she's at home with COVID. So,
we have Maria Carmela and Mari Corman.
No. Okay. But okay, maybe I could ask someone to intervene shortly here, because I have the pleasure to have here a very good friend also, and that was the first president of the Leather Partenariat in the time of Xavier Greffet, and when we all began to think and to act on these things. Marie Corman, could you say something about this?
I don't know if she's already panelist or our
No, she's not panelist. She has to be.
Our colleagues from Web Platform have to promote.
Yes. Okay. Please give Marie Cormin the status of panelist also. I think that now we can open everybody because this will be Carmelo, please.
Yeah, I think on the web platform, it's difficult for the participants to communicate other than in the chat, unfortunately. But I think we had somebody was added. Maybe Maria from Pregrada came into the. Is she with us?
I don't think so.
She was with us. Maria.
Wrote in the chat that her microphone is not working. She has been promoted to panelist, but...
Okay. My microphone is not working, she says. Okay.
Well, maybe I could, can maybe comment on what Paolo said about this idea of defining, and it's actually included in the guide, if I remember. There's this sort of the usual participatory diagram that goes from this sort of, like Paolo was saying, very light touch tokenism up to a real system, if you like, of co-decision, which I think is the model that this project is kind of working towards. And obviously, the further you go down those that route, the more transparent and decision makings become much more, let's say, shared and in an organized and structured way. And I heard actually some of that from some of the interventions. It's a pity that Pregrada is not able to share with us.
Well, anyway, maybe I can say also
Maria
something.
is here.
I'm here.
Maria is already here. Sergio also raised his hand, so let's.
Maria.
I'm here.
As far as I understand, you were always here, but you were simply muted by your microphone, right?
Yes, they didn't want me to talk.
No, now take the occasion. Revenge on the technology. Go ahead.
Yes, but I went offline because of my connection, so I didn't hear the question. Maria, you want me to talk about?
Yes, well, let me tell only then one thing to frame this.
Okay.
One of the issues that since the beginning has been coming to the discussion in our network is exactly that awarding volunteering can be one additional argument to motivate people to be volunteers. And some of the cities are already awarding the volunteers, making them ambassadors. And after this webinar, in the end, we will have the award of 3 categories of volunteerism from Capizzi.
Okay.
So this awarding is something that our cities are already doing. One of the things that we are thinking, and we even have put the possibility of making a new project for this, even under Erasmus or so, is to create a common curriculum of, because we did already some actions of capacity building. For instance, I did for Capizzi some capacity building on volunteerism, but we have not still a coordinated way of doing this because we had to focus in what we were doing. But this is something that was always in our minds, that maybe, and you, Paolo, you know this very well, that I discussed this with Dr. Caterina already 20 years ago, to create even a course here in Portugal for the volunteer people to get an accreditation, an official one. So this is something that has been always in the background of our project. And what was done really was a lot of awards. And compensations for the people. So now Maria, now that is framed, Maria can go on, please.
Okay, but what do I need to say?
What you did in Pregrada.
About awarding volunteers.
Yes, yes.
We have this for years now. In beginning, we began with awarding people the best annual award for the best volunteer. It was in money, so about 300 euros for the best volunteer in that year. But in the beginning, there was no many people applying for the award, because as they volunteer, they were really they were doing it from the heart. So it's not about the money, and they didn't want to apply to this award. So we had to change the people mind about this award. It's not like it's the way we show to them that we care about what they do for our community, that their work matter. So today also we make some changes. We are giving 3 different awards for best young volunteer, best adult volunteer, and best volunteering action. So we today have 3 awards, because with award for best young volunteer, we want to make or promote volunteerism among youngs. But also what we do, we give extra points for young volunteers for scholarship, because city gives scholarships every year, and young volunteers can get extra points in achieving scholarships for their education. So this is what we do with volunteers for now. So today only award in money is for the best volunteering action. So because we think that when you organize some action, you have to have some finance and you have to invest something in it. So that's the only money award that we give today. And for other volunteers, we give like thank you award from the city.
Thank you, Maria.
Maria.
Talking about thank you award, thank you very much.
And now Sergio wanted to say something, yes.
And then me, Maria.
Ok.
Sì, io volevo un attimo tornare sull'approccio partecipativo, perché credo che quello sia un po' il cuore.
Excuse me. You have a small world in the down, and if you click there, you can select English.
Okay.
We have translation, okay?
Yeah.
Please, Sergio. Sergio, can go on, please.
Ok, volevo dire che appunto credo che l'approccio partecipativo sia abbastanza importante per poter organizzare al meglio anche le attività di volontariato nelle città europee, e credo che URBACT da questo punto di vista ci abbia insegnato tantissimo. Adele ricorderà la primissima edizione del programma URBACT, dove l'ULG non esisteva neppure, e ci trovammo in un progetto MEDINT che analizzava l'approccio integrato, dove si proponeva un forum locale per ciascuna città che fosse formato dagli stakeholder più importanti della città. Poi URBACT ovviamente si è evoluto pensando e giustamente credendo che le città sono il motore dello sviluppo urbano e che questo motore si deve muovere attraverso una propulsione che funziona a 5 eliche. Ecco, io penso che prevedere in ciascuna città una partecipazione riferita alle 5 categorie più importanti, che sono la sfera pubblica, quella privata, quella cognitiva, cioè ricerca, università, scuole, formazione, la società civile organizzata, tutto il mondo dell'associazionismo, ma anche la società civile non organizzata, cioè le persone risorsa, gli attivisti, i singoli influencer che non fanno parte di alcuna associazione ma che hanno tanto da dire. Ecco, questo è la ricetta per poter condividere al massimo livello possibile ogni politica di sviluppo urbano, a partire da quelle sociali, che oggi sono diventate più che mai strategiche per il futuro delle nostre città, e ne avremo da vedere, soprattutto negli anni a venire, come risposta a questa pandemia. Avremo da affrontare enormi problemi sociali che questa pandemia ci lascerà. Utilizzare questo metodo partecipativo, secondo me, è la ricetta più giusta che ogni città può cercare di mettere in opera nel proprio ambito. E quindi questo credo che sia, secondo me, fondamentale tenerlo presente affinché poi si ottengano i risultati sperati. Grazie.
I wonder, maybe can I ask you a question, Sergio? I won't do it in Italian because I'm slightly out of practice. But it's very nice to listen, in any case, to a bit of Italian. I had a question about the work that was done in Capizzi, and because, I mean, it's a very small community. Are you sharing your experience to other small communities around Sicily? And how have you done some local transfer, if you like, of the success that you've achieved in Capizzi?
Siamo nella piena fase di avvio di questo trasferimento. Abbiamo appena approvato un piano di trasferimento, lo abbiamo appena revisionato insieme e abbiamo una riunione proprio dopo domani per definirlo in maniera completa ed esaustiva, e abbiamo previsto anche degli eventi regionali, sia intanto a livello interno di cittadinanza, perché è giusto continuare con altre associazioni, scuole, parrocchie a diffondere i contenuti del progetto, ma soprattutto abbiamo previsto degli eventi a livello regionale dove invitiamo altre città, sia URBACT simili, diciamo, che hanno affrontato tematiche similari come Active NGO a Siracusa, per esempio, ma anche altre città come Messina o Adelfia in provincia di Bari, che affrontano comunque tematiche interessanti rispetto alle nostre, ma anche città non URBACT che non conoscono ancora questo programma, ahimè, ma che però potrebbero trarre beneficio dai risultati del nostro progetto. E su questo ci stiamo attivando in maniera molto alacre con il NUP Simone D'Antonio, che fra l'altro è qui presente e che quindi può testimoniare questo impegno che stiamo attivando per poter diffondere i risultati che abbiamo prodotto fino a qui.
So I would like only to add, before passing to Kyriakos, to add that...
Dimitris was willing to ask, to talk, but...
yes, but Kyriakos also. So before passing to him, I would like only to say that exactly the meeting that is finishing today, one of the focus was the action plan for the sharing period. So about what the cities are already doing and how this can be improved to intensify until the end in June. So now Kyriakos has asked the word, and afterwards then Dimitris, please. Kyriakos?
I just want to say a few words about this, and to say that as lead partners, we are happy with all this work that the partners are doing with these awards, etc. I would like to say that this volunteering spirit started in Athienou, the lead partner, in 1970s, before more than 50 years. Really, we discussed in the ULG about this award thing, and we were afraid. Our volunteers, and I answer to Paolo about this mobilizing and engaging he raised at his first speech. we don't need to do anything to mobilize them, just to say we need volunteers and we have 100 ready to help. The spirit is in them while they have been born. They are young at the elementary school or the gymnasium, etc., and they go and they help and they have the spirit inside them. So we thought that by doing this award thing, etc., and trying to give them awards, it might ruin the spirit and to lose them. We thought about awards to some companies if they help with various things, either with materials or with money, etc. But to do it with the volunteers, we believe that it will ruin them. In Athienou, probably elsewhere, it's different. So we make an event every year and we give them some typical presents or some other stuff and we thank them. But if we try to make an award, I don't know, organization or to give prizes to those who will do this or that, probably it will ruin the spirit they have since they are born. And I wanted to share it with you.
Thank you. So I think that Simone D'Antonio is responsible for the Italian loop. And so maybe he wants to say something about what Adele asked about sharing, the sharing period. And then we go to Dimitris, so please. Sorry that I took this because I am seeing the people raising hand and in the chat asking for the words. Sorry for that. So Simone, please.
Yes, Maria João, thank you. Just a couple of words about what Sergio was saying before. We are supporting Capizzi and the other municipalities working on similar topics. In these months, we organized some regional focus groups in some of the Italian regions with many cities participating in the urban networks. We are most probably doing the same, going to do the same in Sicily in the next few months or at the beginning of next year. These focus groups were organized to showcase to the regional institutions, which are really powerful in Italy as in other countries, in terms of planning of the use of European funds for 2021-2027, the added value of the participation to URBACT, and one of the ideas that we are fostering at regional level is also to create some regional transfer initiatives. So we are just launching the national transfer initiative, transferring one good practice to newcomers. It would be really great if some regions with many projects like Emilia-Romagna or Sicily, and more specifically the experience of Capizzi, could be transferred to other cities of the region. It's one of the things that we are reasoning about with the representatives of the Italian regions and Italian ministries. And I think it could be really much a very good way to spread a good practice with an impact on the everyday life of people, as we saw during the COVID emergencies. One of the practices that was promoted on our communication channels and will be also promoted in the framework of our sharing event that is going to take place in Bari at the beginning of September within the National Festival of Architecture. So we are here to support, and I'm pretty sure that the other national points are doing the same with the other cities in the other countries.
So thank you. So I think that finally Dimitris.
Yes, hello everybody. Sorry, I don't have my video, my camera is not working. So I just want to make a small intervention regarding the importance of the local social policies. And I think when we realize what happened during the last year with the pandemic, we can realize how important social policies are, because when the pandemic started, when the first lockdown started, the society was in a shock. There were debates everywhere about the importance of the economy versus the importance of public health. There were debates whether what we are doing, the lockdown, is something democratic or not. and people were in a shock. They felt that this situation is not sustainable. The system is not sustainable when facing this kind of crisis, whether it's health crisis or other kind of crisis. But when you think about it, when you have the knowledge of this kind of policies, of social policies and how they work and what's their potential, you can see that a transfer network like volunteering cities and all the knowledge around it is a way to sustain, is a way for what we're living to have a future and to be robust towards this kind of, towards crisis in general, not just pandemics. And I think this is a key point to consider now and after the pandemic, and we should always consider it to be part of the way we live.
Thank you, Dimitris. And I think that Patricia Berry from Athienou wanted also to say something. Yes, Patricia? Patricia? Patricia, is Patricia a panelist? So meanwhile, I wanted to say that I received a message here from Paloma and Ignacio saying that they are very proud because Altea, for instance, received 2 awards. So there was one, and now they were awarded by the regional government of Valencia a 2nd award that yesterday they went to receive. And so, and for instance, this is really one of the best way to share what is going on, because this recognition by the regional government helps that at regional level, at least, this experience can be shared.
Maria,
So,
can I say something?
Yes, Maria, I wanted only to see if Patricia is already in.
She said that she raised her hand by mistake.
Ah, okay, then that's fine. Okay, then Maria, of course you can.
I just want to say thank you for this opportunity that it was given to us with this project to create some structure of volunteerism in our local community, because we had a lot of organizations and institutions and that were doing promotion of volunteerism, but we didn't have any kind of structure how to coordinate actions and how to plan all together what we need to do. So it's really big. It's really big. Thank you for this opportunity, for lead partner that show us how much we can all do by just putting also the main stakeholders at one table to show the local government how their other institutions, citizens, civil society organizations are important, how to involve local entrepreneurs in social policies on local level. So I don't know, I don't have any other words how to say thank you also for you, Maria, because you have a lot of knowledge in these social policies and how to create it, and you guide us all the way through this project. So really big thank you, for lead partners, for URBACT that gave us opportunity to have kickstart in these models. And for sure, we will go on because you showed to us how important it is to work together. And I hope that what we have learned in this transfer network that will help other cities to see the value of learning logs that we have made through this journey. So thank you all.
Thank you, Maria. I am very glad that you did not say that I put you to work hard. Well, so if you don't mind, our two moderators, I would like, because I think that now she's panelist already, I would like really very much to hear 2 words from Marie Corma about what she heard here, before that you then are willing to wrap up and to close, please. Marie, nice to see you.
Nice to see you all, and good morning. I have been an observer in this meeting. I have worked on local networks with Maria for a long time as an activist and also as an official in the European Commission. So now I'm back at local level as a member of an association in Brussels, where we select citizens at random. So we draw lots and we put together an assembly of citizens, 89 citizens. Unfortunately, we started this experiment last year, so then the pandemic came and it was very difficult to keep it running because our purpose, our main objective was to involve in policy making people who tend to be far away from the political arena. And so we had a mix of people from different social backgrounds, different educational levels, people from different neighborhoods in Brussels. And of course, once we had to start working online and organizing the deliberations online, the trouble we faced was that for some of these people, they had no internet connection, they were not comfortable with using a computer, but still we could keep the process running. And at the end of the year, they produced a policy resolution on housing in Brussels. And what is specific in this movements made up of volunteers is that one got elected and is a member of the parliament in the region of Brussels. And the mandate of this elected member is to bring forward the resolution from the citizens selected at random and ask the other members of parliament to take it into consideration. And this is where we stand now. So we have the resolution. It was prepared during deliberations all along last year, and now it is put to debate in the Brussels Parliament. So that's the experiment that we are busy with. I would also like to ask you if the guide that you have presented today, if this will be available, and if I could please get a copy, Maria, yes, or have a link on internet, because I would like to have a close look, and I'm very grateful that I could attend today. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Marie. So please, Paula and Adele, up to you.
If you don't mind, I take the floor and let's say leaving the last word to Adele. So basically, I think that from our brief discussion, I would say that we have on top of all the rich discussion in the beginning, let's say two takeovers for us to think about. The first regards pandemic. I think that most member states are thinking of the effects of pandemic as if we were in a parenthesis. That is, we had a before, we are having a kind of nightmare, and one of these days we will wake up vaccinated and COVID-19 is gone and we go back to the past. This is not what's going to happen. And I think that what you're facing at local level, and you testified it, is part of a recovery and resilience that is not only adapting us better for, let's say, for next shock, is still about radical changes in our social structures. Let's say, probably our public opinion is now more sensitive to public health. Probably we will have a long unemployment crisis that starts to be visible. Probably we'll have a slow recovery, and this will damage the social tissue, and this will be a big challenge for local authorities. So my point here is that probably in the post-COVID couple of years, we will have a reinforced role of municipalities in promoting social cohesion and in linking the direct effects of the pandemics with the indirect effects of the pandemics, like acceleration of digital transition. Let's say, of course, digital transition is very good, but it will also have those who, let's say, who lose the game. The digital divide will have, let's say, major consequences. And it will be, I believe, in the scope of partnerships like yours that this problem will be dealt with. More, I would say, more than ever, acting against the digital divide should be a priority, as well as let's say the classical role of local authorities in let's say in a recovery phase that is reducing the unemployment shock, promoting local opportunities. And I believe that this is something in which your participatory approach model will be helpful for everybody. My second point, let's say, let's say, takeover from this discussion regards, let's say, permanent transfer. Let's say several colleagues spoke about the way they are transferring the experience within and outside URBACT. And I think that this is, let's say, this is a culture. Transfer is a culture, and it's part of the European process. I think that one of the very good things of Europeanization is this mix. Let's say we have someone experiencing in north of Portugal, Croatia, south of Italy, wherever, and we are creating European spirit. And this is also true at local and regional level. So I would say that the big challenge for this local transfer is creating, let's say, reinforcing, not creating, but reinforcing the culture of local social policy. So we have a long experience in Europe since the territorial pacts, let's say the employment pacts, let's say everything that most of us have been, let's say, working with for a long time. But I would say that within this methodological framework, we need new local social policies in which I would say we have a different context. Someone here spoke about, and I would just list 3 examples. The question of the impact of the crisis in the borders of Europe, within Europe, let's say the migrant, the refugee, the economic migrants, the refugee movement, and the problems this raises to the cohesion of our societies. So we know that, let's say, populist movements are feeling themselves with fear, insecurity, risks that we need local social policies to address and to promote, let's say, to promote this integration. And it doesn't look like the tensions in our borders are going to disappear in next decade. So we must get used to deal with it. The second issue, for local social policies is the impact of aging. We did not speak a bit, let's say, too much about it today, but aging, need of care, reorganization of care, costs of care, all these will be, I believe, let's say, real challenges for the years to come, and mostly on Southern European societies, from West and from East, because we had a familistic structure that will, let's say, that will face tensions. We have more aging people, less young people, and we have a path towards gender equality that will create problems to the traditional family care model. And so this will challenge our local authorities. And with that, I believe the new challenges, with the new challenges of the pandemics, there's, let's say, a big road ahead where we can profit from the transfer guide that you developed. And again, thank you very much for having me. I have already another workshop waiting for me. See you next time. Whenever you think I can be useful, just let me know. Thank you very much.
We thank you, Paulo. We thank you very much.
Maybe if you let me, I could. Would you allow me to just say a quick word of closure? And because obviously Paulo has opened up the debate for how important this network is for the future, and I think my closing message to you all would be simply that this is not the end. It's the end of a particular journey for your cities in this network. But it's certainly not the end of the important work that you've started in all of your cities. And when we hear KYRIAKOS telling us that the volunteering council has been active for 50 years in Athienou, this is so encouraging for your cities starting out. So I'm not sure we'll be all around in 50 years to see how it's going, but it's certainly a step in the right direction, I think, for all of your cities. And the work that you've invested in, I think, is a real positive step towards helping you as small and medium cities to address this, the consequences of this pandemic, as Paulo said. And finally, I just want to say a very big congratulations to all of you, because I've been following at a distance all of your work, looking at your videos and your diaries along the way of what you've learned and how you've adapted and how resilient you all are in these difficult working conditions. And so I want to congratulate you all, and Maria João and obviously KYRIAKOS as well, for their very strong leadership and the excellent basis for working on this project. So thank you on behalf of the URBACT program for your investment and in this process.
We thank you very much, Adele. Thank you for being present.
Thank you very much, Adele, also for this enriching presence in our webinar. I want also to thank all the speakers for their statements and all the participants for enriching also this discussion. I hope it was useful. I hope that many more people will be interested in our participative model, and because we are always fighting for it. And since a long time. So thank you, a very strong and heartful thank you to everybody, and I wish you all a very holy Easter and peaceful Easter. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Oh my God.
And thank you also to the translators for the work that they have done, and for Carmelo, that was a very good manager of the web platform. Sorry that I did not say it before, but because I did not use the translation. So thank you so much to everyone.